This is the real story behind Wendy Williams, Sherri Shepherd, and a headline that thousands of you have seen all over YouTube and TikTok, which reads, "Wendy Williams reveals why Sherri Shepherd was fired." That claim is completely false. Wendy never made that statement, and Sherri was never fired from anything. What actually unfolded between these two women is messier, sadder, and honestly more worth telling than whatever those clickbait thumbnails promised you. Both of these women earned better than a manufactured feud, and that's exactly what we're going to walk through today, starting from the very beginning. Wendy Williams launched her talk show as a 6-week test run on Fox television stations on July 14, 2008, and the ratings came in strong enough that a full national syndication deal followed almost exactly a year later on July 13, 2009. Debmar-Mercury, a subsidiary of Lionsgate, handled distribution, with co-presidents Mort Marcus and Ira Bernstein overseeing the business side of things, and those two names matter a lot as this story moves forward. Wendy Williams Productions produced the show, and from the start, Williams treated it less like a gig and more like a kingdom she intended to build. And build it she did. Between 2014 and 2016, the show reached a series-high 1.8 household rating, which translated to roughly 2.3 million viewers tuning in on peak days, with a daily average above 1.6 million. 53 countries carried the broadcast. BET picked up cable syndication rights and pulled in 500,000 nighttime viewers on its own. Ellen DeGeneres was the only real competition in that time slot. 11 Daytime Emmy nominations came in over the years, along with 4 People's Choice Award nominations, and on October 17, 2019, Williams received her Hollywood Walk of Fame star, number 2,677. Pieces of her memorabilia landed in the Smithsonian National Museum of American History, and the National Radio Hall of Fame inducted her back in 2009. None of that felt accidental to the people who watched her every day. The money matched the profile. Roughly $10 million a year flowed in as salary alone, about $55,000 per episode, and when endorsements and book deals stacked on top, the total reached an estimated $15 million annually. Lionsgate locked her into a contract extension through 2022 during a 2015 earnings call, and by September 2019, she announced a renewal carrying her through season 13. For those of you who watched Wendy every afternoon, you remember what that hour felt like. "How you doing?" ringing through the studio, hot topics keeping you glued, that purple chair. Millions of people planned their day around it. Nothing about that show looked breakable. And that's what makes everything after this so hard to take in. October 31st, 2017 changed the temperature around Wendy Williams overnight. During the Halloween episode, dressed as the Statue of Liberty, she collapsed on live television. Her team pointed to heat exhaustion, and the studio audience laughed along with her nervously. But looking back, that moment cracked open something that had been building for a long time. A 3-week hiatus followed in February 2018, and for the first time, Williams publicly named what she had been dealing with privately for years, which was Graves' disease, an autoimmune thyroid disorder. A show rep confirmed the diagnosis had existed long before that announcement, and fans who had noticed changes in her eyes finally understood why. January 2019 brought another stretch away from the show, this time over a fractured shoulder and Graves' disease complications. Guest hosts rotated through the chair, including Jerry O'Connell, Nick Cannon, Keke Palmer, and a comedian named Sherri Shepherd, whose name you are going to want to hold on to. Williams returned on March 4, 2019, and 2 weeks later, she dropped something nobody expected on her own audience. She admitted she had been living in a sober house. Her exact words were, "You know I've had a struggle with cocaine in my past. I never went to a place to get the treatment." A lymphedema diagnosis came later that year, and she showed viewers her severely swollen ankles right there on camera, telling them she could barely walk 2 blocks. By 2022, she would report feeling only 5% of her feet and relying on a wheelchair to get around. Her personal life fell apart at the same pace. Kevin Hunter, her ex-husband and the show's executive producer since 2007, was removed from the show in April 2019, right after Williams filed for divorce over revelations of his affair. And then September 2021 arrived. A breakthrough case of COVID-19 delayed the season 13 premiere, and Williams never returned, not for a single additional episode, not for the finale, not at all. October 15, 2021, brought the contract suspension, and the language they used tells you everything. It read, "No compensation shall accrue or be payable to plaintiff for the duration of plaintiff's disability and incapacity." A $10 million a year career ended in a single legal sentence. Everything accelerated from that point in ways that caught even longtime viewers off guard. Wells Fargo froze Wendy's bank accounts in early 2022 after her financial advisor, Lori Schiller, claimed she was of unsound mind. The bank went a step further and petitioned a New York court, calling Williams an incapacitated person and a victim of undue influence and financial exploitation. March 2022 brought a court-appointed guardian, attorney Sabrina Morrissey, who initially handled finances on a temporary basis, and by May the arrangement became permanent, with court documents sealed from the public. Control over Wendy's finances, healthcare decisions, personal contacts, and travel all transferred to Morrissey. Medical testing in May 2023 produced an official diagnosis of primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, the same conditions that forced Bruce Willis into retirement. The public did not learn about this until nearly a year later, on February 22, 2024, when her care team released a statement explaining, "Over the past few years, questions have been raised at times about Wendy's ability to process information, and many have speculated about Wendy's condition, particularly when she began to lose words, act erratically at times, and have difficulty understanding financial transactions." Williams now lives at the Coterie, a luxury assisted living facility in Manhattan's Hudson Yards, inside the memory care unit, where monthly costs reportedly run between $25,000 and $52,000. And this is where it gets complicated, because that dementia diagnosis is not something everyone agrees on. A neurologist who examined Williams in November 2025 concluded, according to TMZ, that she does not have frontotemporal dementia. Her attorney, Joe Tacopina, announced plans to challenge the guardianship in court. Williams herself called into The View in March 2025 and told them directly, quote, "How dare they say I have incapacitation? I do not." None of this is settled. A woman who once commanded the attention of millions every afternoon is now fighting just to control her own life, and that fight is playing out right now. We need to rewind to 2021 again, because while Williams dealt with all of this behind closed doors, Debmar-Mercury faced a very public problem. They had a show to fill and no host. A rotating guest host format launched on October 18, 2021, cycling through Leah Remini, Whitney Cummings, Fat Joe and Remy Ma, Michael Rappaport, and Jerry Springer, all of whom took their turns in the purple chair and delivered decent numbers. And then Sherri Shepherd walked in. Her first guest hosting stint fell the week of November 1, 2021, and something shifted immediately. Debmar-Mercury executive Alexandra Jewett put it bluntly, "She blew us away." A new season best 0.9 household rating landed that same week, representing a 13% jump over previous guest-hosted episodes. Reports surfaced by February 2022 that Shepherd had entered advanced discussions with Debmar-Mercury, and on February 22, 2022, the announcement dropped. The Wendy Williams show would end, and a brand new show called Sherri would take over the time slot that fall. The words from the people who pulled the trigger matter here. Mort Marcus, co-president of Debmar-Mercury, explained it to The Hollywood Reporter this way. Because we waited as long as we possibly could to decide about Wendy, and by then we had no choice but to cancel the Wendy Williams show and launch a new show. He also told them, we were protecting the business while we waited for her, and at some point we had to say, we have a business to run, and she's not here. It was a hard call. Wendy's spokesperson Howard Bragman attempted to cushion the blow, telling reporters she understands the decision from a business point of view, and adding, you can't go to the marketplace and sell a show that's the Maybe Wendy show. Williams fired back on Instagram almost immediately. Mr. Bragman, although I appreciate your concerns and respect you immensely, I have not authorized you to make any statements on my behalf regarding my current status with Debmar-Mercury. She reportedly let go of her entire management team days after that post. June 17, 2022 came and went as the final episode, hosted by Sherri Shepherd alongside a tribute video montage. Williams did not appear. She later told the New York Post, "There was nothing I liked about the final episode. They didn't ask me to." 13 seasons of daily television, millions of loyal viewers, over a decade of How You Doin', and the woman who created all of it was not even asked to come say goodbye. Sherri launched on September 12, 2022, stepping into the same Chelsea studio space, the same Fox television station's time slots, and the same Hot Topics format, with the vast majority of Wendy's original staff and crew staying on board. Clearance covered 97% of U.S. households from day one. Shepherd delivered. A 0.7 household rating in Season 1 translated to roughly 1 million daily viewers, and by Season 2, the show climbed to become the #2 most-watched daytime talk show among women 25 to 54, trailing only Live with Kelly and Mark. Renewal for Seasons 2 and 3 came in January 2023, followed by a Season 4 pickup on March 20, 2025. November 3, 2025, brought Shepherd her own Hollywood Walk of Fame star, number 2,827. Everything pointed upward. And then February 2, 2026, ended it. Debmar-Mercury canceled Sherri after 4 seasons, releasing a statement that read, "This decision is driven by the evolving daytime television landscape and does not reflect on the strength of the show, its production, which has found strong creative momentum this season, or the incredibly talented Sherri Shepherd." One industry insider gave Variety the blunt version. The bottom line is, broadcast will no longer pay $25 million plus for any new daytime shows. Sherri's cancellation had nothing to do with Sherri. The entire genre collapsed around her. Dr. Phil ended in 2023 along with Rachel Ray. Ellen wrapped up in 2022 alongside Maury and The Real. The Talk lasted until 2024. The Kelly Clarkson Show announced its ending the very same day as Sherri. Between spring 2021 and 2025, cable viewership dropped 39%, and stations started swapping talk shows for cheaper local news programming across the board. Shepherd spoke about the cancellation on her own show on February 9, 2026, telling her audience, "I'm not ready to throw in the towel on this show just yet. We're going to continue to fight to keep the show alive in some way, shape, or form." A few days later on the Today Show, she kept it simple. "You haven't seen the last of Sherri." The relationship between Wendy Williams and Sherri Shepherd never looked the way the internet wanted it to. Shepherd told Deadline in 2022, quote, "We're not friends," and she explained why, which was that Wendy deliberately kept distance from celebrities because closeness would make it harder to cover them on her gossip show. That boundary wasn't personal. During the transition, Shepherd consistently elevated Wendy's legacy rather than stepping on it. She told Variety, "Wendy has now taken a spot up there with the greats, with Oprah and Rosie and Sally Jessy Raphael." Williams announced on Fat Joe's Instagram Live that she would not watch Sherri's new show, and Shepherd's response carried no bitterness at all. She told her own audience, "I did hear Wendy say she will not watch me on the new show, and that's okay. I understand. I'm not mad at Wendy. She's going through a lot." One fan tried calling Wendy bitter on social media, and Shepherd pushed back immediately. "There's a lot going on in her life right now, so I'm not going to put the label of her being bitter. She's not well." That is not a feud. That is one professional extending compassion to another who is suffering. Let's return to the headline we started with, which reads, "Wendy Williams reveals why Sherri Shepherd was fired." A search through every major news outlet, entertainment trade publication, social media platform, and tabloid archive turns up absolutely nothing. Wendy Williams never made any public statement explaining why Sherri Shepherd was fired. There is no interview, no Instagram post, no phone call, no leaked audio, nothing that supports this claim. What you will find are TikTok and YouTube videos carrying that exact title, built from recycled footage, AI-generated narration, and anonymous tabloid quotes dressed up to look like breaking news. They are split across multi-part clips designed to keep you watching. They are engagement farming. They are lies. The closest anyone got to a supposed Wendy reaction came from tabloid reporter Rob Shooter, who quoted anonymous friends with lines like, "Wendy misses being on TV more than anything," and "In Wendy's mind, that seat was borrowed, not inherited." Unnamed sources feeding a gossip column is not Wendy Williams revealing anything to anyone. So here is what actually happened without the manufactured drama. Wendy Williams spent 13 seasons building one of the most watched daytime talk shows in television history. Graves' disease, substance abuse, lymphedema, and a disputed dementia diagnosis pulled her away from the show she created. Debmar-Mercury made a painful business decision and brought in the best-performing guest host to launch a replacement. Sherri Shepherd ran that replacement show for 4 seasons, earned a Walk of Fame star, and lost her show not because of anything she did wrong, but because the entire syndicated daytime talk industry collapsed around her. Neither woman played the villain in this story, and both of them ended up as casualties of something much bigger than either one of them. Wendy Williams remains under guardianship as of early 2026, fighting through her attorney to reclaim her autonomy. A neurologist concluded she does not have frontotemporal dementia. Her legal team continues working to end the guardianship, and she has described herself as sober for roughly 3 years. She turned 61 on July 20, 2025. Sherri Shepherd continues airing new Season 4 episodes through fall 2026 and has vowed to bring the show back in some form. Debmar-Mercury expressed interest in digital and streaming alternatives, though no confirmed deal exists as of this recording. The clickbait machine will keep doing what it does, pitting 2 women against each other who were never actually fighting. Next time that headline crosses your feed, the one about Wendy revealing why Sherri was fired, you will know exactly what it is. Nobody revealed anything, nobody was fired, and the real story, one about health, about business, and about an entire television genre disappearing, is the one worth hearing. That is what we covered today. If this felt different from the usual gossip coverage, subscribe, because that is what we do here. I will see you in the next one.